Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 22 of albums that are 40 years old in 2025. We've been looking back all month long at 1985. We have 28 days in the month. We're picking out our 28 favorite albums released in 1985. Pretty damn good year for music, I think. I know some do not agree with that, but, a lot of really great albums in the 80s. And today for our pick, this is going to be they call it the fifth studio album from this legendary British guitar player. He had other albums, right? But some were considered maybe band albums. Maybe this is the fifth album with just his name on the front. Some people have been complaining, oh, God, Pete, you're picking too much metal and obscure metal this month. Well, today is not metal day at all. For all of you who just get real tired of me talking metal all the time. But that's what we do on this channel. Metal and hard rock. That's the basis for Sea of Tranquility. It's my favorite style of music. Why wouldn't I talk about that stuff? Today I'm not, though. This album released July 8th, 1985. Produced by the man himself, along with Tony Hymas, Nile Rodgers, and Arthur Baker for Epic CBS Records. I'm talking about Jeff Beck. Flash El Becco himself. There he is. Looking kind of dapper here, right? Jeff's looking like he's ready to do some disco or dance music or maybe a little funk and a little pop, right? That's kind of what you get on this album, right? Flash was for some, a controversial album because it really deviated far from those 70s albums that he did, right? Blow by Blow and Wired and There and Back, even those early, Jeff Beck group albums with Cozy Powell and company, right? This is very different than that. But it was notable for a lot of reasons, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, of course, Jeff Beck on all sorts of guitars. Also sang a couple tracks, too. Maybe not a great choice. Sings 2 songs on here. However, singing on a good chunk of the album is Jimmy Hall, of course, from Wet Willie. Jimmy and Jeff make a very good tandem together. May sound kind of strange at first, but they work really well together. Also singing on one song, Mr. Rod Stewart. This would become the first collaboration between these two since back in the old days when Rod was a young and up-and-coming singer joining Jeff Beck for the Truth album, right? We got Jan Hammer, plays a little synth on one track. You got Tony Hymas, plays keyboards on one track. Dwayne Hitchings, Robert Sabino, keyboards on the album. Drums provided by Carmine Appice. Jimmy Brallower, Barry D'Souza, Tony Smith, percussion by Jay Burnett. You got bass by Doug Wimbish on the album. You got backing vocals by a whole slew of people. Tina B, Curtis King, David Sims, Frank Sims, George Sims. The whole Sims family is on board, and David Spinner. And then on one of the bonus tracks, if you get the CD, not available on the original cassette or vinyl, I don't believe, a woman named Karen Lawrence sings one track on here. We'll talk about that. So, again, the presence of Nile Rodgers producing a good chunk of this album no doubt steered it into directions that Jeff had never really done before. And again, this is the mid-'80s, right? So you've got pop music is pretty big. Of course, metal and hard rock is pretty big too, but Jeff was never really going to do that. And he probably felt he already did a lot of that rock stuff early on in his career. Of course, he's not going to go diving back into jazz rock or jazz fusion in 1985, but dance music, pop music, club music, funk, all this kind of stuff, electronica, all very, very popular along with the heavier sounds in the mid-'80s. So Mr. Beck jumped full bore into that. Later on, probably came to the conclusion maybe it wasn't the best choice, but this album did pretty well for itself. But it's quite a deviation from anything he had done before. So it starts off with Ambitious, which is a great song. It's just very kind of funky, like just a crisp pop rock song with lots of funk elements. Really good vocal from Jimmy, and it's got this amazing guitar solo at the end where Jeff is just doing all this dive bomb stuff on the whammy bar. And I think if you read some of the liner notes to this, He, on most of the album, using his trusted Stratocaster, but he also started using a Jackson guitar, which of course all the heavy metal players were using at the time. So there he's got the Floyd Rose tremolo system and bridge, and he can do all sorts of crazy whammy bar dive bomb stuff, and he does it quite a bit on this album, right? So, but he uses it sparingly on a couple tracks. I believe he uses it on this one. So yeah, but a great solo at the end of the song, but it's just a good dun, 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 great groove to the song, got a good chorus, and then Jeff comes in. It's just crazy. Speaking of crazy, and by the way, I don't believe Jeff wrote any of the songs or music on this album. No, he did not. So this is all, you've got Nile Rodgers wrote a bunch of tunes on here. Jan Hammer wrote a track. You got a cover of a Curtis Mayfield song. You've got Tony Hymas wrote a track. So it's basically nothing written by Jeff at all. The second track, if you thought the guitar solo at the end of Ambitious was pretty wild, Gets Us All in the End, which is a song by Arthur Baker and Tina B. Gets Us All in the End is probably as close to like a hard rock song as we get on this album. It's got some cool kind of like pop touches as well, but it's a pretty rockin' song. And Jeff plays some absolutely scorching lead guitar throughout a good chunk of this song. Especially like the whole second half of it's just like, and he's doing all this crazy whammy bar stuff, and it's just like, it's just like Jeff going off the deep end. And it's wonderful, and it's glorious. I absolutely love it. Up next is a song that actually won a Grammy Award for Best Rock Instrumental, Escape, written by Jan Hammer. He plays on it as well. That's a really cool tune that probably, it's a little more laid back than the stuff on like Blow by Blow and Wired and There and Back. But, you know, honestly, it could have probably fit in on any of those albums. Probably the close to like what we'd expect from Jeff based on what he had done before. Escape is a lovely song. Great guitar work, great keys, really, really good. And then to finish out side A, or side one, is People Get Ready, which was his big getting back together with Rod Stewart thing. Was a fairly big hit. Just a good old-fashioned, you know, Curtis Mayfield track, old bluesy song. Great vocal from Rod. If you see the video, it looks great to see them together, and some great soloing from Jeff. The main solo was just really good. Again, it's emotional. He uses the whammy bar like he always does. Very original player when it comes to utilizing all the little tricks of his guitars. Really, really cool. Over on side two, you got a weird mix of stuff. You got Stop, Look, and Listen, which is again kind of like a funk tune, but it's kind of catchy. Written by Rodgers. I like it. Then another funky tune, Get Workin', is up next. Jeff sings on that. Jeff's not a very good singer. Jeff shouldn't have been singing on this stuff. I know he sang periodically throughout his career. I never really thought he was a good singer. He's just got a very like one-dimensional voice. The song isn't bad, but yeah. Ecstasy is up next. Not a bad track. Kind of somewhat forgettable. Then you have Night After Night. That's also pretty good. Again, Jeff singing, maybe not. And then the regular album, so if you had the cassette or the LP back in the day, You Know, We Know finishes off the album. And that's a pretty cool instrumental, and that's got Tony Hymas playing on it as well as writing it. Of course, he would work quite a bit with Tony over the next couple of years on the next album, right? You Know, We Know is really good. So there's two instrumentals on here. They're both really good. A little more laid back, but I still think they're very, very good. And some really tasty guitar playing from Jeff on it. Then we've got, like I said, there's bonus tracks, which are available on the CD release here. And quite frankly, would have fit very, very well on the regular album. But, you know, the regular album is already like 40 minutes long. So Nighthawks is another song written by Nile Rodgers. That's pretty good track. It's kind of an upbeat, funky hard rocker. Good song. And then one of my favorite songs on the album, the only song that has any writing credits to Jeff on the entire collection, again, not on the original LP or cassette, is Back on the Streets. That's a really good hard rocker, and that's got Karen Lawrence on lead vocals. I don't know who she is. She's amazing on here, and Jeff is just ripping on this one. Great riff, cool soloing. Excellent song. Should have been on the regular album. I could say they should have included that and bumped like Get Workin', or Night After Night, or, whatever, Ecstasy. I think this would have been much. In fact, I think the 2 bonus tracks would have been better served on the album than any one of those 3 tracks I mentioned, because those are really the 3 that I don't really care all that much about. But the rest of it I just love. Again, it's different. I bought it when it first. I remember I bought this on cassette when it first came out, and I totally was digging it, even though it was just so different from the Jeff Beck that the music that Jeff Beck had done that I really loved a lot. So let's take a look at the charts. Australia, number 36, Canada, number 39, Dutch charts, number 43, Germany, number 60, Japan, number 13, New Zealand, 34, Swedish charts, 27, UK album charts, number 83, and here in the States, it made it to number 39. And like I said, Escape won the Best Rock Instrumental Performance Grammy at the 1986 Grammys. Of course, not in the year that this came out, because that's not how the Grammys do things. Everything they do happens at least a year or more later. Hence the whole Jethro Tull winning Best Hard Rock and Metal Album Performance, right? He won that award for an album we released like 2.5 years before the award show. It makes absolutely no sense when they do these things every year. So, anyway, as far as singles go, Ambitious with Nighthawks, released on the flip side, released 1985. Gets Us All in the End was released also in 85. All these released in 85. Stop, Look, and Listen with You Know We Know, and People Get Ready, Back on the Streets, also released later that year. So, why they took, again, there's no dates on here that I have, so I could have sworn People Get Ready was the first single release, because they were really trying to play up that whole partnership once again, or that collaboration with Rod Stewart. So, yeah. So, and also, Gets Us All in the End did reach number 20 on the mainstream rock charts. People Get Ready reached number 5 on the Billboard mainstream rock charts, and number 48 on the Hot 100 singles charts. So there you go. Let us know what you think of this album from Jeff Beck, Flash, down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today. Day number 22. We'll see you tomorrow for number 23. Just a few more days, right? Just a handful of days. We got the full week next week, and then a week from today, we start on albums that are 30 years old in 2025, looking back on 1995. How many days are in March? I would assume 31. I haven't looked at my calendar. Probably something like that, 30 or 31. I can never keep track of which months are 30, which ones are 31. It's just, some people know that off the top of their head. Like, yes, March is this, July is this, January is this. I don't keep track. It's a month. How many days are in it? Whatever. I know February is the one weird month, and I know Halloween has 31, or October has 31 because of Halloween. I know that. I know December has 31 because December 31st, New Year's Eve, right? But a lot of these other months, I can't keep track. So anyway, thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all down below. Thank you in advance for all who support the channel. Greatly appreciated. And yes, I did get rid of my Hercules guitar tower thing. I wasn't liking it anymore because it's not a lot of place to put it in this room, and it just didn't seem to look good there anymore. So I just got a regular floor rack type of thing, put everything down there. So I got another one over there, so everything kind of matches a little better now. Yeah, looks better. Whatever. Not that you asked. A couple of you did comment, so I just figured I'd throw that out there. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon here with more stuff. Stay tuned. We've got the UK connection coming up this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be 7 p.m. in the UK, so don't miss that. We got a fun show. Our favorite power metal albums from 2015. Good show. A lot of fun. Don't miss it. Tonight we will have the next installment of the new wave of traditional heavy metal primer with Rich Catino and myself. And then tomorrow, George Lemie and I will be ranking the albums of one of the great progressive metal bands of all time, Psychotic Waltz. If you've never listened to them, do not miss this show. You will learn a bit, and hopefully you will go and check out these albums because they need to be heard. If you're a fan of Fate's Warning, you absolutely need to hear this band. Absolutely need to hear this band. And even if you like some of their latter period albums, very much dark and heavy, kind of like Alice in Chains or Soundgarden, mixed with some progressive metal. Excuse me. So don't miss this episode. It's a really, really good one. 5 albums. We're ranking all of them. So till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.